We have quite a few major topics to explore tonight. First of all, Malaysia's wage crisis. Yeah, on Friday, the Department of Statistics released the latest wage report, and it really just shows how enormous the wealth gap currently is between the rich and the poor. Next up, we will talk about Bursa continues to rally, Malaysian market on strong buying interest, especially from foreign investors. We'll talk about how the FBM KLCI has gained by 6% and the impact on the Malaysian ringgit as well. And finally, we will settle on how long it takes to double your money. I recently published quite a detailed Instagram post about this. So this session itself, the last part of this session itself, is just to really discuss about the details on the rule of 72 plus understanding the power of compound interest. So yeah, this and more in our weekly analysis. As usual, not financial or legal advice. Quick shout out to all our current learners and gatherers, our patrons. Thank you all so much for supporting us. Allow me to start with Andrew, Wendy, Edward, Alex, CC, Is, Morpheus, Urshad, Caveman Balls, Kelvin, Hi, Thien, Tommy, Jinkang, Adrian, Eric, JS, Wen Yen, Dean, Ruhan, Pen, Faris, and Alan, as well as all of our learner members. Yeah, let's dive right into the first major topic of tonight, employee wages statistics from the formal sector. Now, this was released by the Department of Statistics on Friday, the first quarter of 2023. And the number of former citizen employees in March 2023 increased to 6.45 million people compared to 6.39 million people in the same month of the previous year. We take a look at the median salaries. It's currently at 2,600 ringgit as of March 2023 compared to 2,400 ringgit a year ago. So this on paper, this increase is 8.3%. And on paper, it seems like kind of good news, right? And if you look across genders over here, males, we are still earning slightly higher compared to females, about 4 or 5% higher at 2,664 ringgit compared to 2,545 ringgit. Yeah, looking across ethnicities, Chinese people, the highest median monthly wages at 4,000 ringgit per month. Okay, meanwhile, other ethnicities, they are the lowest at 2,000 ringgit per month. Now, if you compare this data to the salary and wage report in 2021, this becomes even better to see on paper because the median salary in 2021 is 2,225 ringgit compared to 2,600 ringgit right now, representing a 15% increase. Yeah, so this is what the politicians and the employees will tell you. Hey guys, you guys are not paying less anymore. In which country do we increase our salary 10 to 15% in less than 2 years? Right? So this is the argument. But if we divide the data into a horizontal bar chart, the crisis becomes quite clear. Okay, there is a huge wealth gap over here. Dari data statistik gaji sektor formal, DOSM yang dikeluarkan on Friday, 82% of formal workforce employees, they are currently earning less than 5,000 ringgit per month. Yeah, and even more worrying, more than a third of Malaysians, they are earning less than 2,000 ringgit per month. And you just take a look at this bar chart over here, right? As the salary increases, the number of people within the salary bracket itself, right, decreases exponentially, And then suddenly, for the people who are rich or the ultra wealthy, the extremely wealthy, there is a sudden bump up over here, really showing just how unfair the wealth distribution in Malaysia is right now. And just to really emphasize on the point, okay, 2.25 million people, okay, former workforce employees, they currently have a salary of less than 2,000 ringgit per month. Really highlighting the need to implement a progressive wage model as soon as possible. So expectation versus reality. Yeah, so this is the truth lah. Okay, our expectation is that we generally want the majority of the population to earn between 7,000 to 10,000 ringgit per month, right? Meanwhile, we do expect a minority of people. Now, these are people that are probably low-skilled workers or fresh grads slash interns, right? That just really entered the workforce. Hey, they don't really have a lot of education over here. We do expect them to earn below 2,000 ringgit, okay? Maybe below 3,000 ringgit or so. And a small minority of people, they should belong to the ultra rich, right? Yeah, these are the corporate employers, etc., etc., or maybe politicians over here, right? Right now, we are seeing the direct opposite. As I said just now, decreasing exponentially as the salary increases step by step, and suddenly there's a bump up over here. Okay, so that's the reality that we are facing right now. So let's take a look at EPF's Belanjawanku study. Now, this is just really quite an accurate estimation as to the monthly expenses for different types of citizens in Malaysia. So let's say right now you're single, you're a car owner, okay, you require at least 2,600 ringgit per month. At least this is the figure that you require per month to survive, not thrive. Okay, because if you look at it factually, right, 2,600 ringgit per month, come on lah. I don't think it's even enough. Okay, if you want to buy a car, that's easily 700 or even 800 ringgit per month. And your rent itself is already 700 to 1,000 ringgit per month. Then with this, how much are you left for your other necessities? And how much are you left to save per month? Maybe you can't even afford to save every month. Okay. Senior citizens, if you're single, you require at least 2.5K per month. Meanwhile, Bank Negara Malaysia's recommended living wage per month is close to this figure, yeah, pretty accurate, at 2,700 ringgit per month. Now, this figure is as of 2018, Bank Negara Malaysia's recommendation over here. And you look at the reality, right? More than 1 in 3 Malaysians, they are earning much lesser compared to the minimum amount that is posed by EPS Belanjawanku study and Bank Negara Malaysia's recommended living wage. So now some people may argue that, hey, futurists or Shinji, the data that you post is not really fair lah, because this EPF Belanjawanku study, right, is taking a look at Klang Valley only. Okay, compared to other cities, maybe we require much lesser to live. So fair point, which is why I decided to show you guys this slide also, the difference between cities as compared to the Klang Valley. Alosta is currently the lowest as of 2022, okay, at 1,530 ringgit per month, assuming that you are single and using public transport. Now, honestly, for those of you guys who are currently living between in these areas or close to these areas, is this salary enough for you to survive or not? And I think the majority of you guys will say no, even though you don't currently own a car. Maybe this figure may be enough to survive, 1,930 ringgit per month, or if you round it up to 2,000 ringgit per month. But honestly, if you want to own a car, I don't think 2,600 ringgit per month is enough to survive. Okay, if you want to save, etc., etc., the minimum salary that I kind of estimate is probably 3,300 to 3,500 ringgit per month. Okay, and the progressive wage model, yeah, just now I talked about it quite briefly, right? Why we really need to implement this ASAP. Because this itself is to increase the salaries of workers through the enhancements of skills and improving productivity. So right now, the issue that we're currently facing, right, is that in Malaysia, we have a flat minimum wage at 1,500 ringgit per month. Okay, and this is a major problem because the majority of employers out there, they use this as a reference, whether you are a skilled or unskilled worker. So just imagine this guy over here, he's a fresh grad. He's been studying engineering for the past 4 years. His parents spent about 2 to 300,000 ringgit, okay, send him to Taylor's University. Then he starts to find a job and his starting pay is about 2.3K per month. And then the employer says that, hey, it's much higher than the minimum wage of 1.5K already, you guys better be appreciative because right now minimum wage is 1.5K. So this is precisely the problem. When you set the minimum wage at such a low amount and you put it flat for all the professions out there and all the ages out there, right? Yeah, then we see the crisis that we are seeing right now. Okay, progressive wage is enforced via business licensing as opposed to legislation. Now, bear in mind this has been implemented in Singapore for years or even decades already. This this model was designed to enable rank and file workers to climb the wage ladder and provides for a minimum wage, improving overall productivity and in turn creating increased sustainable economic growth. So you kind of have like an increasing wage model depending on different sectors and professions, as well as a different wage system depending on your current age. So that's one of the ways to really resolve the wage crisis that we're currently seeing, because low wages is one of the main reasons to the extremely low savings rate of Malaysians. Okay, EPF CEO, as of May 2023, he said that only 18% of members they have 1,000 ringgit a month to survive 20 years post-retirement. So the basic savings target set by the Employees Provident Fund as of 2019 is 240,000 ringgit. who retire by 55, which means at 55 years old, you should have at least 240,000 ringgit in your EPF account. Okay, and right now the problem is less than 2 in 10 Malaysians have this amount. Okay, and even 240,000 ringgit is not enough for you to retire, because if you divide it across the next 20 years, it only gives you 1,000 ringgit per month to survive. And if you allow me to scroll all the way back, what does the study recommend? The study recommends at least 2.5k per month. Okay, so this really highlights the worrying crises that we are seeing right now. And obviously, this is quite a complex topic for me to just cover quite briefly, which is why tomorrow, Monday evening, I'll be conducting a Twitter space between two financial experts, Han Liu, founder, ex-CEO of Ringgit Plus, and economist Sunny Hamid. So be sure to join, guys. Take note of our Twitter. I'll probably post a notification over there as well as in our Discord. Okay, so make sure you guys join the session tomorrow. I think we'll do it at 9 p.m. Yeah. Shifting gears, moving on to the next topic for the night. Foreign funds continue to enter Malaysian equities. You take a look at the net foreign fund flows into Malaysian equities since July 2021, you will suddenly see a large inflow from foreigners. They net bought equities on Bursa Malaysia for the third consecutive week at 637.8 million ringgit. Now, this is the highest entry since more than a year ago. From 14th to 28th July, they bought a total of 1.4 billion, almost 1.4 billion ringgit now, of equities in notable sectors such as utilities, plantation, and financial services. So take a look at the weekly market participation over here. Local retail, local institution. Now we have turned to profit-taking mode. Okay, majority of local retailers, okay, people like us, we've been taking profits in the market. Same goes to local institutions as well. But the sheer buy volume from foreigners, right, really eclipsed all of our selling pressure. And you can see the net over here, right, is positive. Which is why, if you take a look at the FBM KLCI in the more recent weeks, right, in July itself, it has increased by 6.04%. So if you take a look at notable stocks such as Public Bank, Maybank, Tenaga, they've also rallied by quite a similar amount. Okay, and this is one of the probably the major reasons, one of the main reasons as to why we are seeing the ringgit strengthen against the US dollar more recently. As you can see this chart over here, US dollar versus Malaysian ringgit fell by 3.49% over the same period. So let's take a look at the top 10 stocks with notable inflows and outflows for the week. Now this is as of 28 July. You take a look at financial services, CIMB Group, Maybank, Public Bank, okay, as well as IHB Bank, seen a lot of inflows from local institutions and foreign investors. If you take a look at utilities as well as energy, Telekom Malaysia, Axiata, Time.com, as well as Tenaga National, I've seen quite a bit of inflows. Now, this report is not, I didn't buy this report. You can actually Google search MIDF reports, and then you'll be able to see that MIDF publishes a very detailed report on fund flows every week, and you'll be able to see why the market is rallying, etc., etc. Okay. So another topic, probably the final topic that we will explore tonight before I hop on over to the Q&A session, is how long it takes to double your money. Yeah, because investing is really like planting a seed in your backyard. You really don't know how much time it takes for that seed to grow into a full-grown plant. And similarly, if you put 5,000 ringgit in the market today or probably into FDs, you may wonder how long it takes for that 5,000 ringgit to double into 10,000 ringgit. Okay. Unfortunately, there's a very simple rule over here. It's called the rule of 72. It basically estimates the number of years it takes for your investment to double. So it takes 72, you divide by the rate of return, then you get the number of years over here. So let's take EPF's return. Over the past 14 years, EPF, they have netted an average return of 6% every year. So 72 divided by 6 equals to 12. So assuming that you have about, let's say, 10,000 ringgit in your EPF account right now, and you do not add a single contribution, okay, and EPF's return is consistently 6% every year, it will take 12 years for that 10,000 ringgit to become 20,000 ringgit. Okay, so this is really a very simple calculation that you can do on the top of your head, and you'll be able to see the different percentages over here. If EPF pays 3, 4, 5, 6, 7%, and the duration it takes. The highest over here, let's say EPF pays 7%, it would take 10.3 years to double your savings, assuming there are no additional contributions. All right. So rule of 72 also applies to inflation. Yeah. So since it can estimate how long it takes to double your money, it can also be used in reverse, how long it takes for your money to be slashed into half. So let's assume Malaysia's inflation annually is about 2%. I know it's much higher than this. Okay, if you take a look at the pandemic, in 2020 to 2022 is about 4 to 5%. But it feels like 10, 20, or even 30%, right? So then you can basically use this rule of 72, you divide it by 2, your money will be worth 50% less in 36 years. So if you have currently, let's say 10,000 or probably 50,000 ringgit lying dormant in your bank account right now, that should make you a bit worried lah, okay, if you're not earning any interest on your amount right now, okay. So rule of 72 is convenient, but it also has its flaws. Yeah, can only measure the doubling time of a single investment, assuming that you do not add additional contributions in the future. Yeah, so this only considers your current capital. You cannot add, like every month 200 ringgit into it and then apply the rule of 72. Yeah, for that, right, requires a more complex calculation, and you will need to use a compound interest calculator. So with that being said, I've done the calculations just now already. This number of years to save and invest to 100,000 ringgit if you have 3 years or more. Okay. So this column over here is saving without investing. Yeah, you save manually, you put in your bank account, that money in your bank account is not earning any interest. Yeah, okay. If you have 3 years, you're required to save about 2.8k per month. If you have 11 years, it's about 760 ringgit. Now, what if you invest the money into an asset that compounds 5% annually? Then the amount decreases by quite a significant sum. Okay, from 2.8k, it falls to 2,650 ringgit. Yeah, if you have 11 years, from 760 ringgit, it falls to about 600 ringgit. Now, the question that you may have is that which asset currently pays you 5% annually? Well, the safest answer that I can give you is EPF. Okay, they've been paying 6% annually for the past 14 years. But bear in mind, that doesn't mean, I want you guys to completely go all into EPF right now, contribute all your savings to EPF, because there's a drawback, right? You can only withdraw at the age of 55. So for me personally, my strategy is to just ensure that I meet the minimum monthly contribution to reach a target goal by a certain age. So let's say I'm currently 26 years old right now, and I want to reach 100,000 ringgit by the age of, I don't know, 32. Okay, so it's about 5 or 6 years, right? So then I use this time frame. Then I check the current employer contribution, assuming that for me, probably it's about 600 to 700 ringgit. Okay, just an example. And mandatory employee contribution for myself is about 600 to 700 ringgit, assuming. Then it's about 1.4k. Then I need to top up an additional 100 ringgit per month voluntarily to EPF in order to reach this target goal, 100,000 ringgit, by the age of 32 or 33. Okay, so you guys can probably use this strategy also. And as for other assets that are currently paying 5% annually, yeah, for this, I cannot really recommend because that would equate to financial advice. But you guys can actually Google search money market funds in Malaysia, because the majority of them are paying 4 to 6% dividends annually right now. Okay. As well as the next product that I can probably recommend is Versa, because I've been recommending it for the past year or so. Versa pays you net returns of 4.3% annually only, okay, which is a bit far away from 5%, but it's quite a decent return over here. Okay, so that kind of brings me to the end of my presentation for tonight. I tend not to bring it over 25 minutes, keep it short and sweet. Thank you guys so much for joining. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the presentation. And hey, do check out our Patreon membership. The link is right over here. It's one of the easiest ways to support us and what we're currently doing. Alright guys, good night. See you guys tomorrow in Twitter Space. Bye.